again, I'm gonna hit this with a hammer. No freezer when you come to Doc Watson's Smokehouse.
So we're gonna try our 2-inch bone-in pork chop. 2 inches.
That's gorgeous. That's just gorgeous. Oh man.
Tender.
I don't know what you're doing or what kind of smoke are you using? Hey everyone, I'm Greg Hudson, host of America's Best Restaurants, and you know what we do? We scour the country, we look for hidden gems, we also check out your local favorites. And we're doing that today in Romeoville, Illinois, at a place called Doc Watson's Smokehouse. You're not gonna believe this. Chris is bringing authentic Texas-style barbecue to the middle of Illinois, man. It is fantastic. We're gonna try some things like a 2-inch cut, thick smoked pork chop, some burnt ends that are to die for, and listen to this, hear me out, pig candy. It's thick cut bacon with a sweet glaze, but it's kind of spicy, but it's pig candy, right? Come on, I'll show you. This is Doc Watson's Smokehouse. Oh man, Chris, what's up?
How you doing?
Doing great, brother.
Nice to
Good
meet
to
you, Greg.
see you.
Nice to see you.
Man, you have really embodied the spirit of Texas barbecue.
Thank you.
You got this. And look, here's full disclosure. I actually lived in San Antonio. My first ever TV gig. Shout out Kins 5 in San Antonio on CBS. I know a lot about Texas barbecue. This is the vibe.
Yes, it is.
This is incredible, man. And how long have you been open here?
We'll be 5 years coming up in November.
5 years.
Yes.
You're doing it the right way for sure. For sure, man. I mean, I love it. All the signage. This is just ideal. I feel like I'm back in San Antonio. Oh, hello. Well, don't mind if we do. This is great. What's this, man?
So this is our Texas Nachos.
Okay. Talk me through. You got to talk me through this, brother.
Right.
You can't just say Texas nachos and then we're
Texas
done.
Nachos.
You got to tell me what we're eating.
So we got our tortilla chips covered with queso cheese first.
Oh.
And then we put our monster beans. So our monster beans also has brisket, pulled pork, and bacon in there. And then we top it with pulled pork or brisket, or you can get half and half, which is what we have here.
So we got a little of both.
Right, a little bit of both. And then we top it with our jalapenos, our chives, and our black olives. So let's dig in.
Well, but before we dig in, hold on a second.
It's 2.5 pounds.
I was gonna say.
So it weighs over 2.5 pounds.
You gotta like 2 hands this bad boy. Yeah, let's dig in, man.
It takes at least 3 people to finish this.
No question. No question. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm gonna plop a jalapeno on that too. And look, I got a little of both in there too. A little brisket.
Got it
can
all.
definitely see some pulled pork in there. Look, and I can see these are just nachos, and I can see the smoke ring on there already. And this is just pulled pork shredded up on some nachos, and
Right.
already you can see that they've been smoked incredibly well.
Give it a try.
Let's go. Why do I do this to myself? I get like the biggest nacho. This is not. You already know where this is going, so don't laugh. Come on, man.
We sell a lot of these every day.
You know what I think my favorite part about this is? I know this is like organized chaos because it's so balanced. I mean, there's just enough barbecue sauce. I've just enough cheese on there. Man, the jalapenos are perfect addition. But the smoke on those meats, they rule the day. But again, it's organized chaos because it's so balanced. You look at this as like, whoa, this is 2.5 pounds of nachos. It's fantastic.
It's incredible.
I'm making a mess. How many of these you sell a day?
A lot.
Goodness.
Yes.
And were you saying these weren't originally on the menu or something?
No, they weren't on the menu originally.
Well,
Just one day we decided to create it, and it took off from there.
if you come.
And you know, everything in Texas is big. So I wasn't going to make you a little tray of nachos.
See, now it's making some sense. Now we're making sense. Look at that thing.
Almost 3 pounds of
Absolutely.
bliss.
When she set that down, I'm like, how much does this thing weigh? Yeah, Doc Watson's, you're definitely doing it the right way here. Well, listen, what else are we going to be trying today? This is where we're starting. 2.5 pounds of nachos. What do we got coming up?
So we got brisket burnt ends coming up, smoked pastrami.
Smoked pastrami.
Smoked pastrami. Yes. And then we'll have a side of our monster beans, which I talked about, which is on our nachos.
Yeah, those are dynamite, by the way.
And then today is your lucky day. It's Thursday. It's our pork chop day. So we do a smoked 2-inch bone-in pork chop.
Whoa.
So
smoked 2-inch pork chop.
So we will try that later too.
My goodness. Well, as you can see on this episode, we definitely have a lot to eat. Right now, I need to go clean up, wash my hands, wash my face. After that, man, I would love to actually step outside of the beautiful garden out there.
Thank you.
And I want to hear about your story. Like, how does a Doc Watson's independently owned restaurant bring all of this Texas to Illinois? So maybe if you don't mind, we'll go outside,
Sure.
take a stroll, have a chat.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go clean this off. We'll see you outside. Oh man, I love it out here.
It's a beautiful day.
It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous day. I love what you've done back here with the scenery. This looks like Texas, man. This looks like a Texas barbecue joint.
I try to make it as much as I can to make it look like Texas.
Okay.
Stuck in the middle of Illinois.
Okay, and that's, you kind of led me to the first thing that I really would ask, and I know you probably do too. Why a Texas barbecue joint in the middle of Illinois? And not just like, listen, I'll tell you, there's not just flags of Texas around. No. You are all in on the Texas style barbecue.
Yes.
You've got the Shiner Bach everywhere. I mean, this feels like Texas. Why did you choose that?
I've visited Texas numerous times, went to the awesome smokehouses down there, came back here, was looking for something the same, and I couldn't find it. So I decided to open my own. So,
right. So you just kind of, you were down there, you just kind of fell in love with their style of barbecue,
yes,
what they were doing?
Just the brisket, everything that they make and the way they do it. And I'm like, this is a great concept.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we need one of these in Illinois. So
you're not wrong.
Here we are.
And talk to me about the differences that you find in Texas style barbecue and the way that you do things, because barbecue's so regional, right? Everybody has their own style they develop.
There's Southern, Carolinas have their own style. So we're Texas style, which is all our meat is dry rubbed and smoked on our smoker. We don't put sauce on anything. We do make 2 barbecue sauces in-house that you're more than welcome to have, but we don't recommend that you put it on there because you really don't need it.
And I agree.
But we have the sauce because there are people that like sauce. It's kind of a Chicago staple here that you have to have sauce on your barbecue. But
you leave them the choice though, which is good.
You have the choice. So if you want sauce, we have it.
And you kind of hit it on the head because in Texas, I know for a fact, they're focused on really good cuts of meat.
Yes.
And then just some seasoning, salt, pepper, maybe a rub. I know that the theme and the style is, hey, we're gonna let our smoker and our meat do the talking. But to do that, it takes a lot of fresh ingredients.
Oh, yes.
Is that something with you guys about? You do a ton of sides, a ton of dishes here. What's your view on how you make that happen?
Well, we don't have a freezer, and so...
You don't have a freezer?
There's no freezer here. We don't order nothing frozen. Everything comes in fresh. I get at least 2 to 3 fresh meat deliveries a week just to keep up. So the key is fresh. Frozen is not good.
That is profound.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit this with a hammer. No freezer when you come to Doc Watson's Smokehouse. Just a cooler.
Yeah, just a walk-in cooler.
Man.
Not a big one. That's why I get a lot of deliveries, but no. Yeah.
But you're keeping everything so fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. Yeah.
That is incredible.
That's the way to do it. Who wants to eat frozen food?
No, yeah, nobody. No. But that's just so incredible that you're doing everything like your sides from scratch.
Yeah, we make all our sides from scratch.
And nothing gets frozen.
No, nothing's frozen.
Scratch side ingredients and nothing frozen.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I want people to have a good product. I want you to come back. And the other thing is consistency. Consistency is the key. And if you come here today and you come here next month, it's going to taste the same. It's not going to be inconsistent. So we take pride in our consistency, and that's very important today.
And you know what else I've noticed, and this is just an observation as a casual observer, was just the way that you approach the business as far as your staff goes, as far as customers go. This feels homey the way that Texas barbecue smokehouses do. You know, you go to Texas and some smokehouses there are from, they're small little buildings. They're made from maybe an old gas station or something. They just feel homey.
Right.
And the way that I've seen your staff interact or you interact, and when people come in here, it just feels that way. Is that something?
Yeah.
Is that on purpose? Is it
yes,
not?
we're family here. It's a family-owned business. We're not a franchise. People that work here are all like family. I still have people, so we've been open almost 5 years. I have employees that are still here 5 years later.
Wow.
The girls that work for me that went away to college, when they come back from their breaks, they still work here.
That's
so they
cool,
come
man.
back and they can go anywhere, but
Yeah.
no, they still come back here. You know, I treat my employees like how I want to be treated,
Yeah.
and
And that's evident though.
that's important.
And that was just, that's like camera's not even rolling. I'm being serious here. Just kind of as a casual observer watching you interact, watching them interact, and like, this feels like a family place. And the customers that come in, I mean,
We
just,
have repeat customers that come 3 times a week. So
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the food, man, because we had those nachos, which were out of this world. I mean, piled with meat, great flavor, but we're gonna get to a few other dishes now that maybe you could let me in on.
right. So next we're going to try the burnt ends and the smoked pastrami.
Okay, so burnt ends, I'm a sucker for burnt ends.
Yes.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely want to stick around for that.
And then after that, we'll try the pork chop.
And a pork chop. And you smoked the pork chop, right?
It's a 2-inch bone-in pork chop that's smoked.
Come on, where else are you gonna find that?
Only on Thursday.
That's true. We got it. I forgot. We did get here on the right day. We're here on the right day for the smoked pork chop. Well, I'm all about all that, man. I think if it's cool with you, it's a beautiful day. Let's just sit outside. Is that all right with you? Because this feels
Yes.
like Texas. You got the picnic tables just like they do in Texas.
No, let's sit outside. Why go inside?
Nah, man. Let's sit out here. All right.
Outside.
So you heard the man. Burnt ends and smoked pastrami?
Yes.
Smoked pastrami.
Smoked pastrami.
It's coming up next. It is time to try the barbecue. Chris, I gotta tell you, man, you brought some Texas to Illinois with this. Just the garden, the way everything is set up. The Shiner Bock, if you're from Texas, you appreciate that. I can tell you right now. I already know. You brought us some Shiner Bocks out, some cold ones, because you got to have a nice cold one with some barbecue.
Of course.
So what do we have? I see some burnt ends and what else?
So we got some brisket burnt ends here. This is our smoked pastrami, and that's our monster beans.
And these are kind of what we had over top of those nachos.
Right. They are also put on top of the Texas nachos.
Okay. Well, you tell me, man. Where do we start?
I'll start with the burnt end.
Great. And how do you prepare these? What's the story behind the burnt ends?
So we just cube the brisket. We put a little sweet sauce on here, and we put a little in the broiler, and for a few minutes, and that's it.
Oh man.
I mean, you really don't even need to.
The color on that. I love that char right there on the top.
Yes.
Beautiful. Get out of here. Oh. It's barbecue candy, man.
It is.
Are you kidding me? And it's so tender that the fat melts.
It's unbelievable.
Man, if it weren't for that nice crispy char on the top, I could suck that through a straw. It's so tender. That's how tender it is with that fat. Well, I'm going back in. I
Go
gotta
ahead.
have another one.
I'll finish this one up here.
Oh, and you can even, like, a little sticky there from that sauce and caramelization on the bottom. Man, that's gorgeous. That is beautiful. What's the time on this to cook, did you say?
Well, the brisket's cooked all night.
Right. How long do you cook that brisket for, though?
12 hours, 14 hours.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How do you maintain that? Like, you must be in here pretty early in the morning or late at night, one of the two.
No, we put the meat on at 6 p.m. and then we come in at 6 a.m. in the morning. We probe the brisket. If it's not up to temp, we keep it on a smoker. If it's at temp, we take it out, we wrap it in a butcher paper, and it's done.
You know what I like about that is that it sounds to me like you guys, you're cooking from feel here.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Listen, not every brisket's the same. Not every rack of ribs are the same. It's not It's not precision like baking, man.
Smoking meat is an art form.
It really is.
It is. You just can't take a chicken breast out of the oven or out of the refrigerator and just throw it on the and throw it on the grill.
Right.
It doesn't happen. So no, this is 12 to 14 hours of
love.
Yes, love. Low and slow. That's the key.
I saw that on your door. I mean, it's on your logo. Low
Right.
and slow.
Low and slow.
And that's how you get this kind of perfection.
Right.
And let's go here. Let's go to the pastrami now.
Yeah. Take a piece of that.
What's the seasoning, the spice? How are you preparing this?
So we make our own in-house rub for the pastrami here.
Oh, I could cut this with a spoon.
Yeah, you don't really need a knife. It falls
What?
apart like that. Yes.
Wow. Stop it. This is melting.
Melts in your mouth.
It just melts.
It's so tender. I mean, if you look at that,
I was gonna say,
look at that.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab one.
Look at that. You see that? That's.
I just kind of want to show, if we can, like, just look at this. I mean, just absolutely fall apart. Look, I'm just barely look, it already fell.
Yeah,
It's already.
yeah.
I just barely touched it. Look at. This is Texas style barbecue, and again, lived in Texas for a while in San Antonio, and with Texas barbecue, you let the meat speak for itself. You don't hide it or bury it in too much sauce or whatever. It's seasoning and it's great cuts of beef. This is not missing a thing.
No, it's got just enough pepper on there, just enough kick, and it's.
Now, I was gonna say, I just got a hint of pepper right in the back of my palate. And what was really cool, I'm gonna go into food nerd talk here. I really am. It is so buttery, it just melts. And then I get that richness from the fat and the beef, and the little kiss from a peppercorn in the back. It's like the perfect bite, man.
Yeah, it is. We sell a lot of pastrami, sell a lot of burnt ends. We sell a lot of everything.
I bet.
I don't specialize in one thing. I specialize in making everything taste good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be known just for one thing. I want people to come and have a variety of every time they come here.
Yeah. Well, and you do that. You do that. So, like, I don't know what I want to go back to next. This is just great.
And then our baked beans here, which I said is our monster beans. That's what we call them. They got brisket in there. They got pulled pork in there. And they got our pig candy. And I haven't even told you what our pig candy is yet.
Pig candy?
Pig candy.
What do you, like, making a little mince out of pig stuff? What are you
No,
doing?
It's caramelized bacon.
How do you caramelize the bacon?
Yeah, we caramelize the bacon. Yeah.
It's like,
So we take a brown sugar.
Yeah, I need some answers here. We need answers, don't we? You heard candy bacon, you perked up. You were washing dishes, you turned around, didn't you? Loading the dishwasher, you heard candy bacon, you turned around. We need answers.
So brown sugar, and we take one of our rubs that we use for our meats, mix it together, and that's how we make our pig candy.
Where are you coming up with this stuff, man?
Oh, it's just, it's trial and error.
Oh my gosh, look at this. I got a
Trial.
big chunk of something in there. It's either brisket or...
That's a piece of brisket right there. So people always ask, well, what do you do if you have leftover brisket? Well, we're not throwing it out. It's going into beans.
Man,
I've never had beans that eat like a stew.
Yes.
This eats like a stew. The beans are great, by the way, themselves. Those are delicious.
Yes.
Well,
We go through a lot of beans.
I can see that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this pastrami. But this is fun. I mean, I feel like I'm back in San Antonio. Man, you really took me back to a place that's special in my heart today. Because
You're welcome.
And here's the thing too, if you're not from Texas, this vibe you have out here, this is Texas barbecue, man. You see a lot of picnic tables, a lot of Shiner box stuff, beautiful foliage there, and it's inclusive. People sitting next to each other chatting. You get it on the tray like this, some plates. This is Texas barbecue, man.
Yes. Shinerbach patio in Illinois.
More special than you even realize, I'm telling you. Well, what do we got coming up? Speaking of which, I'm gonna crack a cold one. What's coming up next?
So we're gonna try our 2-inch bone-in pork chop. 2 inches.
What?
Yes.
And it's smoked?
Yes.
So even the 2-inch pork chop
It's
is
smoked.
smoked.
Right. And moist and tender.
Oh gosh, hold on, guys.
You heard the man. It's coming up next. So we're back, and as promised, it's time for the smoked pork chop. Man, we're so
Yes.
lucky we came on the day we did. But I'm going to be really honest with you. We called an audible. During the last segment, you heard us talking about the pig candy, right?
candy,
the pig candy. So while we're inside, we kind of had a chat and decided we'd share the pig candy.
Sure.
In other words, I said, "Can we please try the pig candy?" That's what really happened. Let's get after it here. Look at this thing. And this is a thick cut
Yes.
piece of bacon, my friend.
We buy thick bacon.
That's gorgeous. So I'll take a bite and then I want you to tell me what's going on here. The
Boy.
pig candy, that's so rich.
Yes. It's not healthy, but it's great.
I don't know if I could eat more than one strip. It's so thick and it's so rich in flavor. Are you kidding me? Whose idea was that?
Once again, trial and error.
Yeah. But
So-
but the thing is, you might be thinking when you say candy, pig bacon or pig candy, I'm all
Right.
out of sorts right now. Just sweets, but it's not just sweet. There's definitely some spice or some kick or some flavor in there.
That's from our rub that we use. So we mix with the brown sugar.
Okay. So
Right.
you're using your rub in addition to that brown sugar.
Right.
But you got such a great balance there.
Right. And just so you know, it's served room temperature. Never,
Yeah.
It's never served hot.
Well,
So,
you
and-
kind of want that though, because
Right.
you want that sort of caramelization and that you want it to really stick on there and stay.
Yes.
It's
so
fantastic, man. Woo! I'm getting full. We got this giant pork chop in front of us, and this gets. I don't know that I've ever had an entirely smoked pork chop like this.
no,
I haven't. I honestly not smoked this way. What's the rub? Is this your proprietary rub you got on here too?
yes. So we brine this pork chop for a minimum of 5 days, and that's the only way we could keep that moist because you're not gonna, smoke a pork chop
Oh, man.
that's 2 inches thick without it being dry.
Exactly. You need to keep that moisture. But look at that. Plenty of moisture in there. Man, that's gorgeous. All right. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to cut you one.
Sure.
All right. It's our first date.
Look at that smoke.
Look at that thing,
smoke
man.
ring.
The
See-
smoke. I was going to say the smoke ring on that. Come on. It's not often you see a smoke ring on a pork chop. All right, here we go. Man, that's gorgeous. That's just gorgeous. Oh, man.
Tender.
I don't know what you're doing or what kind of smoke are you using, man? Because that's brilliant.
It's we use cherry wood for all our smoke.
It's brilliant. It's
Yes.
beautiful. And I'm telling you, the smoke,
You can taste it, but
Yes.
it's not overpowering.
exactly. I was going to say the smoke is an extra ingredient.
Yes.
It's an ingredient in the dish almost because that flavor comes across.
Mhm.
It something like this will change your mind if you think that smoking meats is just a form of cooking them. It is, but the flavor that it adds an extra ingredient to it. And this right here, this pork chop is proof.
And these are only sold on Thursday.
Yeah, good. I was going to say we got lucky.
Yes.
So if you're coming and this is what you want, make sure you're coming on a Thursday for sure.
Yes. Only on Thursday. Recommended that you call ahead and reserve yours.
Yeah, you had some people doing that already today. I
Yes.
think for more, right?
Yeah.
Here's the brilliant thing too. You might not be from this area. You might not be from Romeoville, but you're right between Chicago and St. Louis off the highway, right?
Right. We're off of I-55 on Weber Road, just a half mile south of I-55.
If you see that exit Weber Road and you're driving on 55 and passing through, this is a must stop, man. Go ahead, get a platter, take it to the car for the rest of your drive, or just sit out here. This is incredible, man. Everything you're doing is wonderful. We
Thank
want to
you.
thank you for having us today. And on a personal note, I've mentioned it multiple times. When I lived in Texas, that was my first TV gig, and it was my first time living in Texas and really spending time there. And what is happening here today takes me back emotionally. Like, I feel emotionally like I'm back
home.
in San Antonio in Texas, man. This is just great.
Thank
And
you.
where can people find you online? Social media, website?
Yes, we're on Facebook, and DocWatsonSmokehouse.com is our website. So
Okay.
yeah, Instagram.
And you know what to do if you're watching on our page on our YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. And what would you try if you came to Doc Watson's? Which of these items do you think you would try? And here's the other thing too. Have you had candied or pig candy? Have you had pig candy before? If you haven't, you definitely need to try it. And what do you think about pig candy? Is that something you'd be willing to try? I mean, it's bacon after all. So
Everybody loves bacon.
sure do. I absolutely do. So thanks for watching. I'm Greg Hudson. We'll see you on the next episode of America's Best Restaurants. Pig candy.